Hi guys, sorry about that. I got a spam phone call that came through. Also telling me, oh, please wait, we have an emergency, whatever, and they wouldn't get to the point, so I know it was spam. So anyways, as I was saying originally, there are different people that are on here to explain different things. Like, some people are going to be in your face about stuff like that. Some people are going to be really, held off and be like, nah, it was not the time. My stuff, the way I do it, it's just when it comes through, it comes through. And then sometimes I'll miss it and I won't feel like doing it because I'll get caught up in reality and I have to do this or I have to do that. And then all of a sudden, it's just, it's really what it is. I mean, I have to say it when it starts. And if I don't, then I lose it sometimes. That's why a lot of this also has to do with, that phone call like threw me off hardcore. Sorry guys. Where was I? I was going good too. Alright, so basically it's just, I'm just trying to figure out what the universe wants me to say now, because apparently I'm lost for words. Basically, just watch what's playing out on the global scale, on the world. Do not get afraid of what's happening. Change is inevitable. What's going on is we all have to understand that what is happening to us right now is that our thought paradigms, our paradigms that are in our daily lives are changing. And we didn't realize, hey Becca, we didn't realize that basically what was going on was a deceit to us. And as a lot of us are realizing now, the younger, kind of like my age and stuff, we grew up in this. And the older generation. The younger generation, not so much, because they were more free spirits. And like you said, Becca, with a lot of people coming in as the 11th, 12th seeds to wake everything up. I mean, hence why a lot of the kids are out on the beaches. And they're like, I'm not going to let this scare me. So part of me thinks, okay, well, what do you know that you're not telling us? So subconsciously, they know something. And also, the whole scare is that, hey, these kids are carriers. They're not going to give symptoms, but they can carry it to the older generation. The older generation is going to fall down. A lot of the reason why the older generation is falling down, too, is because they've been programmed to feed themselves with low vibrational foods and things, to think low vibrational paradigms, like lack, a lot of things about lack. I don't have enough money. I'm not going to be able to do this. We have to do this. I can't do that, I have to work for a living, different things like that, and the whole idea. The more you break out of that, and the more, like when we were kids, most of us, at least, were able to be like, we had our roof over the head, we had security, we had all that stuff, we felt safe. So we weren't afraid of the world. We didn't care. Like when I was a kid, I was like, dude, I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't like what I'm believing or I'm preaching or whatever. I'm like, that's fine. You can take with it what you want. Excuse me. I said, I'm just my own person. I said, I'm just a messenger like everybody else. And see, that's the other thing. Some people are preachers. Some people are messengers. Some people are actually boots on the ground. So a lot of people are whistleblowers is what I was looking for. So a lot of people who are doing this, we're in a phase. Each has a phase. My phase is kind of coming as a truth seeker, but my phase is more at the end of when everything is settled. Like when I was saying before that I don't really do readings and stuff right now because I don't have the confidence in it. This is also playing out for me as well, because as this is playing out, those businesses, that other stuff, more esoteric stuff is going to be coming to the head front. More people are like, oh, well, I believed in that, which was this whole entire way of living, going to work, making money, everything was solid. Now all that stuff is being taken away and put down and removed. So we're like, okay, we thought that was solid. Apparently it's not so solid anymore. So we're learning that nothing in this world is actually solid. Nothing that, and that's part of our primordial base urges and our humanness, okay? For these vessels that we're in. That is a lot of the fear tactics that's going. They know that the vessel has to live on fear tactics and stuff because it's not part of the crystalline grid yet. as we get rid of these paradigms, we upgrade our crystalline grid. And so the more we upgrade our grid, we become more crystalline, the less these fear tactics take hold of our body, because our body is less physical, and more spiritual, crystalline, okay? So that's why some of us are having a harder time with this transition than others. And that's what's also going to catalyze the wake up period. And the, hey, you know what? This is actually kind of interesting. You're going to see a lot more people trying to do, like, this is why Harry Potter stuff and a lot of that, like, Charmed, all that kind of stuff that's, like, witchy and esoteric and numerology, things like that are going to start coming to the forefront. More people are going to start generating towards that because they're going to be like, okay, I see the pattern in things. Now, there's so much stuff happening to me, I can't ignore it anymore. I mean, it's slapping me in the face every 10 seconds, and that's getting really annoying, so I have to wake up to this. Hey, Nikita. A lot of this also has to do with the fact that the matrix that we're in is 3D, and the 3D is breaking down. And so the entities that are still trying to grasp hold of controlling the human population, because we are their energy source, Matrix, watch the Matrix, most of the things in there are true. A lot of that is what's going on, and they're like, oh, people are waking up. These Morpheuses and Neos are getting, and they're getting through to people, and more people are waking up, so we got to put a stop to this. So we're getting the, like, spider bot things coming in and trying to stop us and all this stuff, but they can't stop the internet necessarily. There is also a talk that the internet will probably crash soon, because so many people are working from home that is too much bandwidth on it, and they can't do it. Now, this 5G that they're trying to push, that's also part of it. But I do not also believe that the president necessarily is the savior, as some people are saying. I think he's being manipulated also. I don't know about that. I don't know enough information. I haven't been downloaded with that. Maybe I'm not supposed to know. Maybe other people are supposed to know about that. That's not that's not my task right now. My task is to share what I know and what I'm getting right now. And what I'm getting is that a lot of us are basically being woken up to the point where we have to focus more on people. We have to focus more on love and kindness. And we have to stop living out of the fear paradigm. Because all that's going to do, okay, if you fear, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. Oh my God, I'm going to do this. And it happens. It happened. Now what are you going to do? Okay, so what? So now you're out of money. Okay, what you feared happened. Now what? Now you have to reformulate your life. You have to reorganize. You have to readjust. Okay, now, could you have better readjusted back then and started the actions and the steps to do it before that even happened? Yeah, do it now. Start putting things aside. Start thinking about ways that you can do stuff in case all these necessities that we've lived on start breaking down, because that's what you're going to see. You can't have a full matrix rehaul unless it's all broken down and start from scratch. You know, we can keep certain things, but, you know, our government's going to go crazy, you know. That's an interesting theory. I don't know about that one, Becca. To be honest, I think he's got a learning disability because either some people say that he's not human and that he might be an actual robot because of the way he talks and stuff. I never liked him from the get-go. Never have. And that's my personal opinion. I don't like him. I don't like him when he was on his show, when he was trying to manipulate people out of money. There's other stuff coming up that people that believe him don't want to admit to, like the fact that he had immigrants that were working for him for free and things like this. All this stuff that they're now forgetting when they're seeing these Q drops. Yes. This is definitely a reset and a reboot. But a lot of things too is like I said, I think he's a puppet. Someone else is not necessarily, he's working with somebody for something in the background. I think what's going on is, yes, he's, like I said in the other video, the word Antichrist is coming up, and I don't know why, because, you know, some people say that the Antichrist is actually the fear that's going around, which I believe too. But I do believe that after all this is said and done, he's going to come out and he's going to try to become, oh, well, I did all this and I made sure that this. When he got elected, I did not like it at all. And I was shocked. Blown away. I did not believe it. Now, granted, I didn't like anybody else either, okay? But this whole building the wall and all this stuff and the fact that he never ended up following through on a lot of this stuff, that's, there's other stuff behind that we don't know. Like, I can't fully make judgments against that because I don't know what's going on in the background. And that is not my place. It is not our place. We do not know the whole truth. And it is not up to us to be able to judge that. As truth seekers, it's interesting to try to figure out the truth and dig through it, but you could freaking be here for years. You're never going to know the whole entire thing unless you're on the other side in spirit form. That's the end of it. That's end all, shows all. But with the veil thinning now, what we're getting is that more truths are being revealed. I mean, have you seen the posts? We don't see them all now because it's all coronavirus stuff. But for a while there was posts all the time about all these older civilizations coming to light now. Farmers in, like, Italy digging up mosaics from, like, older generations and stuff in, like, the Roman times. All these artifacts coming to light. Like, all these, like, Newgrange, Giza pyramids, all these other high influential places. I mean, because, like, remember a couple years back when the weather was really bad and, like, that temple in Tibet fell off the cliff? I don't know if you guys knew about that or not. I think back then, what was just downloaded to me now was that this controlling force was trying to make it so that we didn't have religion and so that we would seek them out because we didn't know what we were doing. But what was actually going on is that didn't happen. That actually caused the rebound effect. Basically what happened is people were like, oh no, that's going downhill. We need to pray a lot more and save it. So they're like, oh crap, we can't go that way. So then all of a sudden you didn't see a lot of these demolitions or these natural disasters killing religious or disrupting religious buildings, okay? Notre Dame was another one, okay? They tried it out again in Notre Dame, okay? The fire, that whole thing. I really believe that was not an accident. There are little things planted all around the world for these little tidbits, okay? Little breadcrumbs, so to speak. And we just got to be more aware of it so we can connect the dots. The Nazca lines, okay, guys? All these things that the ancients knew. We also have to go back and remember our ancient teachings, okay? The fact that the global warming, and everybody's like, there's no such thing as global warming, and da-da-da-da. Okay, well, call it whatever you want. Global change, I don't know. All I know is it's changing because we're uplifting. We're advancing. The Inuits in Alaska knew this was going on because they could see the patterns in the wind forms forming the snow dunes when they were going across. The fact that whales and beaches, they're beaching themselves. Beaches are all this stuff that for like 3 years ago we're coming up and everybody's like, oh, well, that's just too bad, blah, blah, blah. Now, the dolphins are coming back in Italy. All this stuff, it's all being revealed. It's going to be showing us how much damage we did to this planet, what we are responsible for. Some of us will get it. Some of us won't. Some of us will stay into the 5D, into the new realm. Some of us will not. It is okay if some of us pass on. This virus is what's also helping, because a lot of people are like, oh my god, my grandfather's gonna die, and I've been there too. I'm thinking the last 2 days, oh my god, if my grandfather gets it, because there was a case in East Aurora, and da-da-da-da-da, and we'll get into. And then I had to stop myself, and I had to be like, you know what? One, he's 95. He's lived his life. He understands. My grandma's not here to freaking yell at him and do all this stuff and control him because she had an entity attached to her. He doesn't need to see this section. He's already been here. He's been here through 1920s, okay? He was born in the 1920s. He's lived his life, okay? He was married for 73 some years. And that's what he charted. He charted to live until then. He doesn't need to chart to live 5 million more. I mean, this is all us trying to put life on other people. Oh, well, you have to live so long because that's what it is, and I need you around here. It's I. Gramp always has been saying that he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't like how things are. He's sad. He doesn't want to. Maybe that's because his subconscious is saying, you know what? My time is here. I've had my feet on the ground doing this for so long. It is now your turn. And this is what you came in to do. I'm going to let you take my place, which is fine. Yeah, Anita. We are overdue for it. It was supposed to be, I think they said like 10,000 years, every some thousand, I don't know. But we are way overdue for it. And you can see it. You can see, like, and everybody, I wanted to vote for Al Gore when he was talking about all that stuff back when I was a senior in high school. That's when I first started voting. And everybody thought I was crazy. Oh no, that doesn't exist, whatever. Because everybody was so programmed by the paradigms that are going out. Now the veil's thinning. Weird things are happening and people are waking up because they are forced to. I'm like, when my uncle came to me back in 2006 after he died, that freaked me out to the point where I had to be woken up and I couldn't ignore it. Like my mother came to me also in 2002, but I was like, okay, whatever. And I just ignored it, pushed it under the rug. But then when my uncle came to me, and he came to me physically, and it freaked me out because he actually sat on my bed in the other room here in the house, and I could feel the indent. And I was watching the door, and I was awake, and I put my hand down on the back, and I could feel the indentation. It was warm. And I know there was nobody there. I was staring at my cat who was outside the door looking in, and I'm like, oh crap. Because cats frickin' see spirits. They're the ones that keep the negatives at bay. So cats are awesome. And my uncle always loved to mess with my cats, and his own cats too. He'd come over and mess with them all the time. So I knew she was looking at something. And then it freaked me out to the point where I'm like, and I put my hand back, and then I felt it go up. Because in my head, I said, who are you and what do you want? And as soon as I said that, it went up. Like the bed became normal again. And I'm like, ah! I jumped out of the room and I like laughed. And I'm like, oh my God. And it scared me so much that I actually, to be honest, I moved my bed to the side of the wall so that I could have my back to the wall and I could watch. But it formed my resilience and my admiring of other people who've had issues like that, okay? So this is a lot of stuff that's coming out that we can no longer ignore. And if you ignore it, a lot of this stuff is just going to come back in your face. A lot of people can't. A lot of people are so tied down to their reality as in the 3D that they will not, because it will break their psyche if they understand this, okay? So we got to be at peace with letting them go. We got to be at peace with them just, whatever. I've seen a lot of other younger people passing lately too. And I'm thinking, at first I was like, okay, that's sad. That's, they haven't lived very long. A friend of mine lost her son at 5 months, to SIDS and things like that. I'm like, that's not. But then I think, you know what? Sylvia and other people spiritually have taught me that this is why we do this, so that we can understand what's going on. So they can bring to our attention what is our blocks to a happy life, okay? We're putting our love on other things instead of being internal. In some cultures, instead of having wakes and funerals, they have celebrations of life. When somebody dies, they celebrate. Now, that's a great way to turn it around. That's what we need to start doing and start being positive about it, because more positivity. That's what I'm going to be doing, what we're going to be doing, hopefully, when all this is over with my grandmother. Celebration of life. And more people are doing this in Western, United States and stuff like that, too. So, hold on. That's what I've been doing, living with a mindset of 50-50 shot of virus, and I'll have 50-50 shot of not waking up. Yeah, right. There's not really a sense of going. They said on the news the other day that basically live as if you have the virus. Now, I don't really agree with that, because if you're living with the idea that you have the virus and you're like, oh my God, I have the virus, I have to do this, this, and this, the virus is still up here. So you're still in fear. What I do is I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's as if I have, I just spit on my arm. Okay, I'm just going to wipe it off. That kind of thing. Whereas, like, you don't focus on it. You just kind of go about and be like, oh, okay, I have a little sniffle today. Whatever. I have a little sniffle ever. Don't feed into the fear. I mean, if it is your time to go and you just started to go, then that's okay. What we are most afraid of is not necessarily dying. I truly believe what we are most afraid of is pain and suffering. That is what's getting everybody freaked out. Because if we all knew that we could just, like the thing I posted on my own personal wall, It's a picture. I have this thing in my eye. Sorry, guys. When you have 2 rows of eyelashes, it gets really annoying sometimes, and they just like to randomly fall out. Whew. Sorry. That's another thing for an old soul. 2 rows of eyelashes. It's a different kind of a genetic thing, too. But anyways, hi, Shadow. My cat's here. So basically, it's more like if we knew the veil was thin and we could just put our hand right through it right now. Like if my hand, the other part of my hand was on the other side right now. We wouldn't be afraid because we'd be like, okay, all I have to do is when I feel like it and I don't want to be here anymore, I just walk to the other side and it's fine. If we knew it was that easy and there was no pain at all, we wouldn't be afraid of what's to come, guys. We wouldn't be. That's why a lot of these religions are like, I'm not afraid of anything because God, I know God's going to do everything. Okay? They have a point to a degree. Everybody's got a point to a degree. There is truth in everything. Okay. That's Shadow. Shadow says hi. And she agrees. There's truth in everything. But basically, you can't live life in fear. That fear is what is feeding into the dark web and everything else that's negative out there, okay? So what we have to do is we have to go through this. If we're going through lockdown, if we got everything shut down, you know, if your job gets, I know a lot of people are getting let off. I still have a job for now, but I don't know. I mean, 10 hours, you can't really function on that at all. So I'm working my home business, my essential oil biz, as much as I can. But I'm not pushing, like some oil businesses are pushing, and they're being like, oh, you have to do this, because people are getting desperate. Okay, guys? That still breeds negative karma, okay? We are still playing the karmatic wheel. What we do now will bring about a different future. If we go out of it as love, and believe me, guys, I know it's hard. I had to check myself like 5 times yesterday, and I had to start listening to nature music on here. And, you know, think of it this way. If your internet goes down and all that stuff, what are you left with? Nothing, basically, guys. What are you going to do? You have no choice but to exist. And I don't mean exist as an existing, like, negative connotation, but existing as getting back to the sole reason why we're on this planet. Existing. Loving yourself. Taking care of your family. And I get that whole, well, I'm not going to be able to eat anything and all that. I get it. It's real. I get that. I'm not denoting that, guys. Okay? So I'm just saying the more we fear what's going to happen is the more it happens. Okay? Now, granted, I said in the other video, too, I would mention this. On the 10th. Was it 10th? The 11th. Okay, on the 11th of this month, I basically broke up with the guy that I thought was my twin flame. Okay? But I realized that I was psyching myself off. Psyching myself out of it. I had settled. Okay? There is a connection there, and I do believe we have had many past lives. But this guy did not want to advance himself. He was too caught up in the dark 3D lower energy realms. And he probably has a bunch of negative entities attached to him that are feeding into his fear. And unless he himself wants to, he's gotten himself out of it a couple times when I was around because my energy is so strong that I can actually push the negative entities away because they're afraid of my energy. And the fact that I work with Archangel Michael and Raphael. And other stuff. But I was teaching him to be able to do it for himself. Because, I mean, we can do it for them, but the moment we stop and they start going back to their old habits, those entities are going to latch back on again. Because that was what was told for me when I started dating him in 2016. There was a negative entity that was living outside his house. And it was just negative. And I was in the house and I had banished it. And basically, he had banished it too. Because he follows Sylvia Brown too. That's why I got connected with him. But he's not following her ways or the ideas of the spirituality. What he's doing is he's doing it when I'm around, which is why we had the fight and why he actually officially broke up. Because what I was saying, he knew subconsciously was the truth. But it was too much for him because his reality was based on everything but that. So to be able to tell him this stuff and him to actually do it would crumple his whole entire existence and what he formed as his life. He lost his father, he lost his mother, he lost his grandmother, he lost his other grandmother, found them all dead within 5 years, 6 years, maybe 7. That's a lot to take in. And that's a lot of warping with the fear and everything. So he chose to let go, and I'm like, okay, we're not gonna have a really, I have to take care of my grandfather, and I was putting down the truth, because I didn't want to break up with him, because I have this thing, and it probably is a past life thing, where I'm just like, oh my god, I can't not have anybody here. Plus, with my history of all my family and stuff, when I'm going foster family and abuse, I have that I have to work with. But this helped me work through that, okay? And I've seen a lot more, and actually also when Mom passed, the light here in the house got a lot lighter. And I noticed when I came back, because I moved back in June, that she's like, oh, well, it's the curtains that are making the room really dark. And so I was like, okay, well, logically. Because when we start thinking logically, we ignore the spiritual nagging, saying, hey, wake up, this is not, true, that's what you were told, that's manipulation. So I was like, okay, yeah, sure. It took me until she died, and then the light started coming back in, for me to understand that something was attached to her. And I knew it wasn't her, because her attitude has changed. She didn't like what I was doing. She didn't like that I was pulling back from her. Instead of supporting me like she used to, she was coming at me all the time. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. You never work your Young Living, all this kind of stuff, Young Living business. You never do this. You always quit stuff like that. And I was smothering. I was getting smothered because of all that negative talk. It does affect you guys. Hold on, so that's what came through the other day, too. It's like we're being forced to go back into the little house on the prairie times. Yes, exactly. We're going to be basically, and that was a couple years ago, I read an article about it, too, about the fact that we're going to go back to gardening. I know there was a movement not too long ago, like 3 years ago, that people were starting to try to do gardening in the back of the houses and things like that, and it kind of fell flat, because people started being like, oh, it's too hard. I can't do it. I can't keep it up. It's too much. Well, the people back in the old days did. That's all they had. If you're forced to have anything, like if that's the only thing you have, you will make it work. You have no other choice, basically, and you have to survive. I mean, I can think about the other day when I was talking to my aide, I was also talking about the fact that when Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind goes and she's starving because of all the war and all that, and then she goes up and finds that turnip on the hill in Tara, and she eats it, and then she throws up because she was starving for so long, and she goes, I will never go hungry again. It's kind of like that, guys. And then people are going to be like, okay, desperate times calls for desperate needs, or whatever the saying is, and okay, yes, but that's still 3D thinking. That's still, okay, well, I've got to do this to survive. If you're in survival mode, that's not going to bring you the prosperity. You're still in that 3D, okay? And I know it's hard, guys, and any little bit helps. I'm not saying, I'm praise your wins. Like, if you go, hey, I'm not going to have that bar of chocolate today that I really, 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 really want because I'm really depressed and I really can't take all this stuff. Praise yourself for that. Or, if you do need it, do it. Okay, I did it the other day. I was eating ice cream bar. And I haven't done ice cream in over a year because my body all of a sudden went into, I need carbs. Because it went into scare tactic, because all I was hearing and all I was seeing in the grocery stores was, oh my God, there's no food. So my body inadvertently, subconsciously went into starvation mode, which is not good for us because then it supplements the fear, which then compromises our immune system. Because then we're like, oh my God. And then that causes us to get sick, okay? We need to stay as upbeat as we can. I know it's hard, guys. And the idea is, I live by, hey, if you're going to get it, you're going to get it. And I know it sounds blasé and all that kind of stuff, but it does actually put the fear off. And I've been working through my money fear too, because for this last 3 years, I've been back and forth between making money and not making money, having like months where I don't make anything and struggling to survive. And that's also part of my lesson. And it was gearing me up for this, which subconsciously none of us knew. So there's a lot of things going on and a lot of things we're going to have to start changing. And my brain is like going in circles right now. So the universe is telling me to back off a little. So, sorry for all these videos being super long and being interrupted in the beginning, but that way you can catch both sides. There is a lot going on and I will try to keep you guys posted. Like I said, I'm working now Monday and Friday until we get total lockdown here, which probably won't be too far off considering a lot of the other states are being in lockdown. if that's the case, I'm just glad that it's happening now where I can hear my birds and I can go out on my deck. And it's training me also to start cooking more and to start being okay in the kitchen, because I wasn't. I was going to fast food restaurants and doing this stuff, and we weren't. It's training us to be more confident in our own abilities is what it's doing too. A lot of us are like, no, like WALL-E, the movie WALL-E. A lot of these movies, Disney movie again, WALL-E, when they were on the planet and everybody's in those motorized chairs and they're all so fat, and at the end they all end up, the gravity gets out of whack, and so the whole space station tips on its side and everybody falls out, and then they realize there's a pool, then they realize there's a gym, then they realize all these things and are not glued to the things in front of their faces. This shit's getting real, guys. There are messages out there all the time for us. And what I was saying in the other video is, when I'm speaking like this, there are codes that are coming out that everybody, even on replay, will hear. And if you're tuned in, you are meant to hear it. If you're not, that's fine. It's not for you at this time. That's why we are message seekers. I'm a messenger. You know, I just speak the truth. And a lot of people don't like me because I'm blunt and I'm to the point. You know, people are like, well, you could be a little nicer that way or whatever. And if I have a reaction, I react. I don't overreact a lot, but I do react sometimes. But this is all teaching us what we need to do and how we're doing it. Hey, Debbie. All right, I'm going to get off, guys. Sorry about this being chopped up into two. Like I said, that spam call was really annoying. And I'm sorry. But I got to go and figure out what Gramp wants, considering it's 1:30, basically, 1:24. I got to get him up so he doesn't sleep through all the day and then doesn't sleep at night. So stay safe, stay sane as much as you can. Don't feed into the fear. There are other things being revealed in things broader than us. There's a galactic battle going on right now between the forces of quote-unquote good and evil. But it's basically just a reset. It's basically just all the lost souls that were garnished from all the cabal and all the negative factions, the Illuminati, all those cults, cultists, bloodletting, sex trafficking, all that. They're being reset, and all those lost splintered souls, or whole cruxes as I like to call them, are being healed and sent into the white light of the Holy Spirit, I like to say, or the universe, or the violet flame, so to speak. And so in order for us to heal it and reset, we got to clear that out. So there's going to be a lot more clearing going on. So there's going to be a lot more revealing going on, okay? So it's going to sound way worse, and it's going to sound like everything's falling apart. Don't feed into it, okay? It's going to get worse before it gets better, but it will get better, okay? We're only in month 1. The projection for this was from 4 to 5 months, from what I heard. Not necessarily that the sickness and the virus is going to go 4 to 5 months, but the cleanup, okay, and the resetting, okay? And to be honest, if people are looking for vaccines and pills, they're projecting that basically it's going to be 12 to 18 months for them to get anything. And if this thing keeps mutating, it's not going to matter, okay? And this was all that whole author thing about the vaccination agenda and stuff like that too. So, I mean, even though it looks bad, it's actually for the greater good. Okay? And like I said, if people are falling off, or if they're passing, things like that, don't look at it as bad, okay? They chose that in their chart. I like to look at it as, hey, as long as they're on the other side in the other field, they have a lot more that they can gather to help us than they have on this planet, okay? In this physical body. Do they have technologies from other realms? They have other people. They have more stuff that we're blocked to have right now because we have the amnesia. So I'm like, hey, go help us out. And we need more people on that side so they can help us out over here. And like, you know, all that stuff. I'm like, come on, because we need the help. And the faster we can get this reset, the better. Well, we don't want to push it either. We don't want to have it like super fast either, because then everybody's going to be like, oh. We need it. And that's why it's kind of going to be a gradual kind of a thing too, because we need to be able to assimilate it as it goes, okay? I mean, they say for a habit, to break a habit, it takes 15 days. To make a new one, it takes 90. Okay? What are they projecting for, at least here in New York State? They're saying, basically, you don't have to pay your rent and your utility bills that's put on Waylay for 30 to 90 days, guys. Little things are popping up. Light bulb, 90 days. Trying to enlist new paradigms, new thought patterns, new habits of living, of healthiness, okay? I'm all about it. All right, I'm going to get going. But that is just what's coming through for me. And my back is hurting from sitting in this chair like this. So I got to go and see what Gramps doing. And I got to go get something to eat. Oh, I ate 2 eggs this morning. So keep up the protein too, guys, as much as you can. Not necessarily the meat, but as much plant-based protein as you can. Get out in the sun if you have the sun. Sun codes are awesome. They'll activate your DNA so that this won't be as much. Stay hydrated, because the more, we're still kind of getting that galactic core energy radiation constantly. Even though all this stuff's going on here, all that galactic stuff is still being imprinted and put, okay? Because we're now galactic, you know, okay? And it's not just our planets and our realm, it's universal, like our universe, and then the universe inside the universe, okay? It's big, it's massive. This is all like everybody's coming down to help little old Earth realign, okay? It's like the big brothers are all like, it's okay, baby Earth, we got you, we got this. And then us little humans were like, all right, we're good, we're gonna do this. We're like the little ants building the thing, okay? You step on an anthill, and then they're like, okay, guys, let's do this. We're gonna rebuild. We're not gonna stop. Ants don't just stop when their anthill gets stepped on. They reform, like, okay, guys, let's work together. We got this. One ant was like, no, screw that. It's another Disney movie. Ants. You know, or no, Ants is Pixar. Bug's Life is Disney. But anyways, so yeah, a lot of stuff happening, a lot of things going on. I gotta get going because my stomach is hurting because I'm hungry. You'll find a lot of that too. A lot of people are going to be eating a lot and then not eating hardly anything, and then eating a lot and not hardly anything. So it's interesting. But stay safe. Do what you need to do, healthy-wise, to relieve the stress. Okay, that's the key. Healthy-wise. And just have fun, guys. Have fun with it. If you have kids, learn from your kids. If your kids start getting freaked out, calm them down. It's all good. Just be like, it's just a game. Kids know more than we do. They're fresh from the other side, guys. So we can learn a lot from kids. Because their energy is just so brand new. And a lot of the kids coming in, they're star seeds, and they're like Becca said, they're 11th and 12th seeds. But anyways, Feel Good, follow Feel Good, Diane Canfield, and a lot of other people. All right, I'll keep posting in here as much as I can. There's been a lot going on, and I've been having to deal with my own quote-unquote issues here with my aunt and my brother. But my brother's a little bit better. But my aunt, she's definitely got something attached to her too, unfortunately. But I've learned not to engage, because the moment I was here and I engaged in it, it blew up in my face. So I just sat there and I actually go like this. If you get somebody that's kind of attacking you, go like this. Go like this, because it saves your heart chakra. It's like a shield. Your body subconsciously is putting up a shield. I do this all the time. And then when you need power, go like this, okay? Your body stances are the same too, okay? And speak love everywhere you go, into your objects. I talk to my objects, my inanimate objects, all the time. And it still works. Everything is energy, guys. The more we accept this and the more we integrate it, the better the energy will flow. So just work with it. Try it out. Use it as a game if you want. Have fun with it, okay? All right. I will see you on the flip side. I gotta go and eat. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for joining me. Catch me on my YouTube. I'm going to upload all these to YouTube and get that going. I will talk to you on the flip side. Love, light, and blessings, everybody. Namaste. Stay safe. Stay safe. Oh, and there's my dog. I gotta go let him out. All right. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.